You've been lied to for years. Higher frame rate isn't always better. There, I've said it. Shock, horror. Don't get me wrong, there are loads of great reasons to play games at higher frame rates, but then again, there are also plenty not to. This might sound a little bit confusing. After all, 120Hz is higher than 60, so it simply must be objectively better, right? It's basic maths, man. Science doesn't lie. But here's the thing, in isolation you'd be absolutely spot on, but in the world of gaming, there is no such thing as a free lunch. And unfortunately you are going to have to trade things for a higher frame rate, which in practice aren't always worth it. So let me explain what sort of frame rate is best, what you should be aiming for, right after a short word from this video sponsor. Gigabyte Era laptops are the one-stop solution for all of your creative and gaming needs. These slim and sleek machines look absolutely gorgeous, yet they pack in some serious horsepower. Coming equipped with NVIDIA RTX graphics cards, Intel 11th gen processors, and stacks of memory, these laptops are perfect for both work and play. Learn a little bit more today with that link down below. As usual, it's the whole marketing BS that gets in the way of the truth, because it's not as simple as just buying a 120 or 360Hz display and then playing all of your games in that luscious, rich frame rate, because you're always going to have to make a trade-off to get there, assuming you can actually get there in the first place. It's a bit like buying a long-haul flight cheap. If it has 4 stopovers but costs half the price, is it really worth it? And is that a good analogy? Probably not. For decades, console users have been using 30 frames a second as the standard, the benchmark minimum that games need to feel smooth enough to play. Coding issues and hardware limitations mean that sometimes games miss this, cyberpunk, but that's a topic for another video. Let's assume a rock-steady frame rate across all of the games today. The issue with 30 frames a second is that it looks absolutely fine, but it never really feels great. As soon as you put any input into the system with a keyboard, with a mouse or a gamepad, you'll probably notice that there's a slight disconnect from what you're doing and then the time to actually see something or feel something happening on screen. This is exactly why the latest gen consoles, and of course PC gaming, have all adopted 60 frames a second as the true minimum benchmark of next gen. With images being refreshed twice as fast, not only does the game look a whole lot smoother, but the reduced delay from actually hitting the key and then seeing the result on your screen makes it feel a whole lot better too. The drawback for this, however, should be pretty obvious. You need twice the amount of horsepower to actually render twice the amount of frames. Though with current generation hardware, this shouldn't be a problem, right? Right. Moving things into the realm of 2022, a key selling point for both PC gaming and the new consoles is 120 FPS gaming, which is of course 4 times the amount of those icky old consoles. There is absolutely no doubt that this feels incredible, both on PC gaming monitors and the new breed of gaming TVs, with 4K 120 slowly becoming the norm for super high-end gaming. It is just a joy to use, honestly, especially in multiplayer. Gaming is just so much more snappy and engaging, it really is next level. This isn't 3D, it's not VR, this is well and truly not a gimmick. Just like RGB, makes your life complete. But here's the best bit, this isn't even tech for the wealthy, oh no! Cheap 1080p displays that work with 120Hz have been around for ages, so there's no reason why anyone has to settle should they want to get in on the 120 FPS action. Unless you're on console, and this is the main difference really between PC gaming and console gaming choice. Because on PC you can set the frame rate to pretty much whatever you want as long as the game actually supports it without a frame rate cap, sorted. Whereas on console, you can only choose the options that the developers have actually set for you, which is a bit sad. Now, to be fair, a decent chunk of next generation games do give you the choice between different performance modes, but sometimes it's between 30 and 60, not between 60 and 120. If you're on PC though, the good news is that this doesn't apply, and in fact, you can go even higher than 120. There are even rumors of 480Hz monitors coming soon, which is almost a little bit scary. It's all about reducing that time between input and output, and as such you'll feel more connected to the game than ever before. Any competitive title really starts to pull away and give you a frankly unfair advantage, especially against anyone playing at 30 FPS. Wouldn't want to be one of those guys. Because you get your ass whooped, boy! It's really difficult to explain with words, but I'd almost describe it as having more focus on your surroundings, as that extra time to spot enemies and move the mouse may only be fractions of a second, but it really does make a big difference. It's definitely not as dramatic as 60 FPS versus 120, especially in slower paced games, but there is no doubt that I play better in Apex Legends at 240 FPS, even if I am still a little bit crap. The big problem here though is actually quite a few things. Firstly, money. 240 and 360Hz monitors are expensive, let alone the graphics cards and the processors needed to actually drive these games at that refresh rate. And that's the other thing. Even with an endless onslaught of cash, there's just no way you can actually drive all of your games at 200 FPS. Even if you've got an RTX 3090 at 1080p, it ain't gonna happen. Sure, the games that you probably want to play at 240 or 360 are gonna be lighter multiplayer titles, but it is definitely a little bit of a waste now, isn't it? And then finally, you have the issue of resolution. Because if you're looking at getting a super fast refresh rate monitor, chances are at best it's going to be 1440p, and the real fastest ones are always going to be 1080p. There's just something very backwards about having super high-end hardware, but then pairing it with like a small low resolution monitor. If there's a title that you play religiously, that's multiplayer, and you're a very competitive person, then 240 and 360Hz monitors are indeed for you, and I don't think you'd regret buying one. For everyone else, I'm not quite so sure. So this is the bit that I like to call PC-centric super fun guide to choosing a frame rate, starring me, and if you buy anything, you. Isn't it fun? Speed! Games feel incredibly fast as the frame rate increases, with extra fluidity to help their game look and feel their absolute best. Competitiveness. Not really important for single player, but the faster the screen refreshes, the lower the latency, and the faster that you can react to the on-screen action. Enjoyment! Just like I bet you're enjoying this segment. I know this sounds really silly, but genuinely, playing at 120 FPS is more fun than the same game at 60. I can't quite explain it, but by adding that extra layer of immersion through a closer connection between the player and the game, it is definitely more fun. This last point definitely has a layer of diminishing returns to it though, as ultimately it depends what you're playing and what you're playing on. The more input that's required, the stronger the effect, and it's much more pronounced with a mouse and keyboard than it is with a controller. Now, for comparison, here are the reasons to actively choose a lower frame rate, and the list is actually surprisingly long. Cost. We've already mentioned the currency aspect, but here I'm talking about the computing power or the cost of actually working with higher frame rates. You see, in order to actually crank up the frame rate, your processing power is prioritizing speed over other, arguably just as important factors. Resolution maybe, graphics settings, ray tracing. The better looking options need a lot of grunt, and as you may need to turn these off, your game could look noticeably worse. And do remember that in some games you are going to have that frame rate cap, not just on consoles, on PC too. There are titles that will cap out at 60, maybe 120, 150. I for one would absolutely love to replay LA Noire in more than 30 FPS. But I don't think it can be done. And do bear in mind that if you are on PC, the higher resolution screens already present you with a little bit of a difficult trade-off for you to consider, because not only would you be limited in resolution, but there aren't actually as many different panels being made out there, so the chances of you finding the exact same screen size, aspect ratio, and refresh rate that you're after all in one package at a good price isn't actually that likely. An example for me, for instance, is I would happily get an ultra-wide that's 360Hz, but it doesn't exist. Yet. This statement might be a little bit controversial, but in my opinion, you just don't need over 120Hz if you're playing with a controller. Racing games might be an exception here, but to be honest, surely you'd buy a wheel if you were really serious, right? And there actually lies the truth to frame rates. Ultimately, it's all about what's getting best for you, and it's really easy to identify because you need to know what it is that you want to play and what you're going to be playing it on. For console users, I wouldn't say that it is a must-have to buy a 120Hz TV right now, but if you do play the right supported titles, then it is a no-brainer to upgrade to 120 whenever it is comfortable for you to do so. On the PC side of things, it's definitely a lot harder because there are so many different combinations of options, and you probably don't just play games either, do you? What if you're on a second monitor for Reddit? Asking the big questions, aren't I? Competitive gamers just get the fastest gaming monitor that you can afford to drive, and then you'll get the lowest latency possible. If you're a mixed gamer, then to be honest, anything between 120 and 165 is absolutely fine. You're not going to get the benefits of faster frame rates in every game that you play, but then again, you're not paying for a specific use case that you're not really going to ever properly take advantage of. It also gives you the true freedom to play at whatever resolution you want, 4K, 1440p, ultra-wide. Ultimately, it's whatever floats your world of warship. I should have just said boat. Single player guys and girls, controller players, then in my opinion, you can take it easy. A large format display is probably what you're after. Make it 32 inches or more, higher resolution, and aim for 120 Hz. This is all you're going to need to play any title, and even if you can't make it up to 120, that's cool, no issue whatsoever. It's going to look fantastic, and it'll still feel brilliant. Told you it was simple really, just have realistic expectations for what it is that you're actually trying to achieve, and ultimately if you are spending a set budget, try and work out what is going to work best for you, because there is no one size fits all, but ultimately the more broad you are as a gamer, the more broad display you should probably be buying. In conclusion, faster is indeed better, but it always comes at a cost. Just how much are you willing to pay, and how much are you willing to give up for that smoother gameplay? If you do want to check out current pricing on any of the displays that were featured here, then you can check them out with my affiliate links listed down below. And of course, while you're down there, don't forget to check out Gigabyte's awesome Aero laptops. Available in both 15 and 17-inch flavors, these RTX Studio machines are perfect for cruising through workloads by day and then crushing AAA games by night. With both OLED and HDR screens available and specs to meet any creator's need, portable creativity has never been more empowering. Get yours today with that link down below. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this, get yourself subscribed, let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. What frame rate are you using? What are you aiming for? Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.